Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the all-new 2023 BMW XM. This model is finished off in mineral white metallic, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all of the unique specs and features for this crossover style SUV. So let's start underneath the hood, where this has the 4.4 liter twin power turbo V8. It's paired to a 25.7 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack, along with the 8-speed M Sport automatic transmission, capable of pumping out 735 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque, sent through that xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 6,000-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in around 3.5 seconds, with a top speed up to 168 miles an hour. Now, as far as the fuel economy goes, you're looking at an 18.2 gallon fuel tank with 14 miles per gallon combined between city and highway, and a total range of 30 miles on just the electric itself. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice that this retains the kidney design for the grille. It is a little bit larger, but what I love about this is all of these slats are now running horizontal versus vertical. I think it's a really nice touch. Forward-facing camera, XM badge, plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to this engine. You'll notice too, more gloss black funnels its way down to the lower section, and at the top of that, there's the LED headlights and high beams with the LED turn signals and DRLs in that upper strip. That was first introduced on the 7 Series. It has been a little bit controversial, but I think it looks great for this front end. Now, there's even massive air inlets where you could almost touch the tire, reach in and touch that. They are that large. There's also one on that passenger side. The adaptive cruise sensor is right in the middle with some more cutouts. And then there's some nice lines that come down both sides, meeting the top section of that grille very nicely. Now, this model also has a massive set for the wheels. These are 23 inches in diameter, 10 inches wide up front, 11 inches wide in the rear, with a two-tone design, massive wheel cap right in the middle, and then of course the M brakes, which are finished off in black. Now, the rest of the gloss black theme works its way around the fender flares as well as the lower section. It's on that XM badge, which goes just above the door handles all the way to the rear. It's also on the power folding side mirrors, which have the turn signal and the camera system. And of course, it's surrounding all of the window trim. Now, this vehicle is focused more as a crossover style from what I've seen from BMW. It is only a 2-row vehicle instead of having a 3rd row like the X7 would. But it has a nice design to it, fairly similar to some of the other BMW models as far as having more of that coupe-like or fastback design to it, as BMW would call it the Grand Coupe. So it has kind of that similar design, but it still retains all of that additional height for storage. And then there's a line running right through that gas cap as well, giving it some good definition, leading our way to the rear end, where this has a spoiler up top with the 3rd brake light. What's interesting though is it doesn't span the entire section, so it does come up short a little bit, where you have more glass with a BMW outline on both sides. Wiper blade is in the lower section. A very sleek design for these LED taillights with some more lighting on the sides. Now, this has the power liftgate, backup camera, all the sensors, and then take a look at the quad tip dual exhaust setup being stacked on top of each other versus side by side. Very cool to see that. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, we can use the button on the key fob or up underneath. This also does have remote start. However, when you do that, it goes into the electric system. I don't know if that is a setting or not, so I won't be able to electric start it or remote start it so you can hear that. But the rear cargo has plenty of space. We even have the charging cables and this nice leather bag that's also tied up at the moment, so that way it won't slide around as much. On this right side, there's a 12 volt. You also have access to the fuse box with some battery components on that left side. There is a removable cover, and you can fold the back seats down, so that gives you a lot more interior space. Now, up top, you can close and lock it. The one on that left side will just close it. And as we move on to the back seats, you'll see a pretty cool pattern for the gloss black on the outside. And then take a look at this spec with the interior. We have the Laguna Blue along with the coffee up top. Very nice two-tone design. What I like too is the armrest has almost a floating style to it. There's a little bit of storage on the back side, but it's a very deep compartment in front of that. There's all the brushed aluminum accents as well, even part of that Harman Kardon sound system. And then we have more attention to detail for the entire interior. Now, at 5'10", I have plenty of space. It is very roomy for these back seats. There's storage pockets, we have the air vents, heated seat adjustments, all of the climate adjustments as well, even some storage and some more auxiliaries. And there's even some hidden auxiliaries behind both front seats. Simply just slide that up. You have an area where you could attach a tablet and charge it at the same time. Now this headliner has the geometric design running throughout it, as well as the fiber optic lighting. Check out how cool that is with the coffee color surrounding it, all in that Alcantara. Such a gorgeous design. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest, and you can't even fold the seat down, of course, if you need a little bit more space. Big pillar in the back there, but you can easily see around it through the glass, which I will talk about for the test drive portion. And then the front door panels finished off just like the rear with all the memory seating adjustments. These are even massaging seats. We have all of the window controls, power side mirror adjustments, the gas cap release, and a little bit more storage. Now, being the hybrid, in order to plug this in, you simply just push on this on the driver's side and you can gain access to that. However, the gas cap is locked, of course, so you have to release that. And then we have the solid blue basically for the seats with some more adjustments down on the side. And as we hop into the interior, like I mentioned earlier, when we fire this up, so my foot on the brake, that button's down below, we are in the hybrid setting currently. So you won't hear the engine, you won't hear the exhaust note until I just push on M hybrid, and we can go into electric, the e-control. So let's look at the steering wheel, where it's completely covered in solid black leather. On this right side, there's volume along with your Bluetooth and voice commands. This middle button here gains access to the digital gauge cluster. So by clicking on that, you will see content there, where I can use this scrolling dial now to further go through all of this information, just depending on what you would like to see. So you have a good bit that you can look at, kind of all of your traditional or standard info that you can easily monitor and go through. Now, if I go over to the right side, this is for the head-up display, where you have a few different settings where you can go into your directional view, your assisted view, there's the standard view. On this left side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. We have the massive paddle shifters, and then M1 and M2. If you are unfamiliar with these buttons, you can actually set these up for the driving style that you'd like. So you can have this ready to go and simply just push on either of those controls. Now on this left side, there is a little bit of storage. There's all the headlight and parking light adjustments, some of that interior lighting, even carbon fiber surrounding this massive infotainment gauge cluster setup. Now this was introduced in the 7 Series. It's about a 38-inch screen or so when you add them together. And then if we take a look at this infotainment system, there's all these shortcuts over on this left side. So those are all fixed. And then what's also fixed is the climate adjustments in the lower section. So let's talk about those. Simply just click on the climate menu. You can get to the heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. You have all the passenger adjustments too, and then you can easily adjust the temperature. So I love that it doesn't matter what screen you're on in the upper section, those are always going to be there. Now, if we go into all of these apps here, I can use the rotary dial to further go through all this info. This also has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can go through your seats, go through your charging system. You can even get into your climate controls. Look at the digital key, which is the key card that is located down below. So you can set that up as needed. And then if we scroll down, you can go through your displays, your driving settings as well. If we go into the driver assistance, you can monitor all of that as needed. And then we have the setup here as well. And if we go into setup, this is how you can go through M1 and M2. So you have those different configurations. There's even the energy recovery for the regenerative braking. So you can decide how you would like to have that. And then if we go into M1 right now, you can look at the hybrid system, which we have it in electric. If we go to hybrid, that is for both. We can put this into Sport Plus now. We have the transmission in the quickest shifting one. Max recovery there, chassis will be Sport Plus, and we are just going to set this up for all of the sport settings once we get this out on the road and have the exhaust note on. Very easy to go through all of that. Now there's more carbon fiber, 2 air vents underneath that, more of that lighting. You will see power and volume for the radio as well as tuning next to that. We have some other recirc adjustments there. And then there's also the wireless charging pad along with some auxiliaries. These are even heated and cooled cup holders. So you have that option and you can hide that away with more of that beautiful carbon fiber. Now for the shifter, if I push it up and to the left, that is for the backup camera, where you will see we have some shortcuts on that top-down view. And then we can even go to the assisted view, go to the panorama setting. If we go into more, we go back to the 360, you can actually use those shortcuts or the gesture control to go around the entire vehicle. So you have no shortage of visibility issues. You also have another top-down view that you can get into, and you can even go to the forward-facing camera. And to do that, I just pushed on the shortcut button down below. Now, if I put this into drive, push it one more time, you will hear the engine start up, and now we can use the paddle shifters and really listen to that V8 rumble. Now, park is on the backside. You can also adjust the transmission further by pushing on those icons. You will see traction control along with the parking sensors. There's a setup. If we go into M mode, you have the road or sport, and then there's also M hybrid, so you can configure how you would like to drive this for that electric setting. Now there's also an exhaust note button, the auto hold and electronic parking brake, as well as a downhill assist control. There's a good amount of storage, pretty much like every other BMW SUV, with an auxiliary down below, and then even more storage in that glove box. This is such a beautiful interior. I have never seen a color combo like this spec, but it works so well. We have the dome lights up top, emergency call button on the back section there. Let's get the new XM out on the road. And from second gear, here we go. Mild acceleration. We're up to speed. Hopefully you can hear that exhaust. It doesn't feel, because it weighs so much, it doesn't feel like it's throw you back in your seat. It's just powerful to get you up and moving, if that makes sense. You can feel some of the shifts just depending on where you shift, obviously. But it doesn't feel like it's gonna kick you back in your seat, which I like. This is an SUV, you know, you want it to be comfortable. You know, it's not a sports car. So we have a lot of power just to get you up and moving. Very smooth too, even using the paddles myself. But you can get a look at what it's like to be behind the wheel of the all-new XM, $160,000. I believe that the red label is probably right around $185,000. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more options that I'm not able to show or go over. So you have a good price range. It's an expensive vehicle, but you have a good price range depending on what you'd like to get. And so basically being in this model here that's closer to that starting MSRP, we don't have a lot of options, but it's crazy to see what comes with the vehicle at that basically base entry level point for this car, including the lighting, the shapes in this headliner, which are not flat. Like there's actual indentations and marks in that headliner, which is very cool to see. But for that base price, you're getting a lot for your money. You're even getting rear wheel steering, which for a big vehicle, we still need to do a 3-point turn, but it does help with that maneuverability. And then you get the rest of the tech here, massaging seats. Man, It's quick, it gets up and moves. What I love about this all-new XM too is the fact that from the outside, certain angles make it look like a Rolls Royce Cullinan. Now, BMW owns Rolls Royce, but it's very interesting to see them make a BMW version, I'll call it, of the Cullinan for a third, a fourth of the price. And honestly, I would be very happy with this. This is a very nice interior with this spec too. Blue and brown. I would have never thought of that color combo. Even the suede Alcantara for the headliner. It's a cool option. It's a cool color spec. I don't think it would get old. It's a very deep blue, so I think it'll age very well. But this is an interesting spec. And as far as everything else goes, it's a two-seater, kind of like the X5. A little bit bigger, I would say. Just a little bit bigger than an X5. Obviously smaller than the X7, which is a three-row vehicle. So it's kind of in the middle, in a sense. Not quite a sportback design to it, or the Grand Coupe design to it, like some of the other models. So it's still a normal SUV, but BMW is calling it a crossover style. So it's kind of in the middle, kind of a crossover-ish design. It's a big SUV. But plenty of room for everything that you would like. And if you're used to the newer BMW models, this is exactly what you would see in a lot of the 22, 23 models for BMW. So what do you think of this all-new BMW XM? This is certainly a very cool SUV with a lot to offer. And when we can, we are going to give it one last acceleration here and finish today's video. And it gets up just like that. I hope you all enjoyed today's full review going over the 2023 BMW XM. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.